The political feuds of the Texas capital had brutal, real-world consequences on the frontier. The survival of the young republic depended entirely on its ability to defend its settlements and enforce its authority. But this task did not fall to a traditional professional army. It fell instead to a legendary new force, one that would redefine frontier warfare: the Texas Rangers. We're diving into the violent heart of the Republic's history, exploring the creation of this iconic fighting force and the dramatic, often tragic conflicts that defined the relationship between Texans, Tejanos, and Native American groups. Stick around to learn how a new weapon, the Colt revolver, forever changed the balance of power on the plains. If you're interested in how violence forged the character of Texas, hit that like button and subscribe. With the formal Texan army mostly disbanded by President Houston due to lack of funds, the defense of the vast frontier fell entirely to these volunteer militia companies known as the Texas Rangers. These were not soldiers in the traditional sense. They were rugged frontiersmen who furnished their own horses, weapons, and supplies, and famously refused to wear uniforms or salute their officers. Their mission was simply to range the frontier, protecting settlers from raids. Among their leaders, none was more legendary than Captain John Coffee Jack Hayes. Feared by his enemies who called him Devil Yak, Hayes was a brilliant tactician. He recognized that the Rangers' single-shot rifles were a severe disadvantage against Comanche warriors, who could fire a dozen arrows in the time it took a ranger to reload. The turning point in frontier warfare came at the Battle of Walker's Creek in 1844. Hayes armed his company of 15 Rangers with the revolutionary new weapon, the Colt Patterson 5-shot revolver. Instead of dismounting to fight defensively, Hayes led his men in a mounted charge, unleashing a continuous volley of fire. The new technology tripled their firepower and allowed the small ranger company to decisively defeat a much larger Comanche force. For the first time, Texans could fight an offensive war on the plains, a tactical shift that would forever change the balance of power on the frontier. The violence of the era was not random. It was often a direct consequence of the aggressive expansionist policies enacted by the Lamar administration. By treating Tejano and Native American groups as inherent enemies, the government's actions pushed them into alliances with Mexico, creating a tragic, self-fulfilling prophecy. The Cordova Rebellion in 1838 revealed the complex and shifting loyalties within the new republic. Vicente Cordova, a respected Tejano leader, felt the rights of his people were being usurped by the Anglo-dominated government. Cordova organized a force of disgruntled Tejanos and allied with Cherokee groups who feared losing their lands, launching a rebellion with covert Mexican support. The revolt was quickly crushed, but the discovery of documents on captured Mexican agents proved the existence of a wider conspiracy to destabilize Texas. This hardened Anglo-Texan distrust. Lamar's War on the Cherokee, 1839, was one of the most tragic episodes. Their leader, Chief Bowles, also known as Duwali, was a respected elder and a personal friend of Sam Houston. Houston had negotiated a treaty guaranteeing the Cherokee title to their lands, but the Texas Senate refused to ratify it. Lamar then ordered their removal. The conflict climaxed at the Battle of the Natchez in July 1839. The 83-year-old Chief Bowles led his warriors into battle, carrying a ceremonial sword given to him by Houston. He was killed, and the Cherokee were defeated and forcibly marched out of Texas into Indian territory. The Council House fight in 1840 marked a brutal turning point in relations with the powerful Comanche. A delegation of Comanche leaders came to the Council House in San Antonio to negotiate a peace treaty. They brought with them a single white captive, a teenage girl named Matilda Lockhart, who showed clear signs of horrific abuse. Enraged, Texan officials demanded the immediate release of all other captives. The Comanche chiefs explained that those prisoners were held by other bands over whom they had no control, a political nuance the Texans failed to grasp. The Texan commissioners then took the chiefs hostage inside the council house. The peace talk instantly erupted into a massacre. In the ensuing melee, Texas soldiers killed 35 Comanches, including leaders, warriors, and several women and children who were waiting outside. The Comanche were outraged by this act of treachery, as they held sacred the diplomatic immunity of ambassadors. The council house fight destroyed any hope for peace and ignited decades of the most brutal warfare on the Texas frontier. The aggressive policies of the Lamar era and the tactical brilliance of the Texas Rangers like Jack Hayes permanently altered the balance of power in Texas. But this shift came at a horrific cost: the destruction of peaceful treaties, the exile of the Cherokee, and the brutal council house fight, which guaranteed decades of bloody conflict with the Comanche. Next, we'll shift back to the political landscape, meeting the diverse faces of the Republic, Tejano heroes, free black businessmen, and frontier diarists, to understand the full social complexity of this chaotic era. What do you think was the most profound mistake made by the Republic during its time on the frontier? The expulsion of the Cherokee, or the treachery of the council house fight? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe for part 3, The Faces of the Republic. Until next time, stay curious.